This video is going to be the weekly forecast for the week of 18th November to 22nd of November. Starting off from the monthly chart, it's pretty clear that we have taken out buy side. So for downside targets, I'm looking at the swing lows week for all the three indices. This is what I've annotated. Dropping down into the weekly time frame, we can see that Nasdaq is trading into this inversion fair value gap. ES is trading into this down close candle. And for Dow Jones, this down close candle as well. Now, because, let me just remove all the drawings. Because on the higher time frames, we are still bullish. We have not confirmed any bearish order flow yet. Okay. What I want to see next week is if we can find some support of this inversion fair value gap for NQ, this two bullish order blocks for ES, and these two bullish order blocks for Dow Jones. Dow Jones, we have the weekly fair value gap form right here. This is a bullish fair value gap, a BC. So I want to see if price can do something like this and then reverse higher. Notice how we don't have SMT on the highs and we have SMT on the lows. Right, if we just compare this low right here, swing low to swing low. Okay, ES made a lower low, I believe. Yep, a lower low right here. This low is 5724.25. This low right here is 5724. Okay, so this is a higher low, higher low, lower low. So we have SMT down here. I would much rather lean towards the bullish order flow, but I'm just pretty concerned that we don't have a fair value gap after this bullish up close candle. This is indicating weakness because we should form a fair value gap like this if we are going to continue higher. And at the same time, if I use the previous week's dealing range, we traded all the way into 50% and we closed below 50% for NQ right here. So this is not the type of price action that I want to see if I'm expecting higher prices. Therefore, I think we can probably run these lows in the next few months, not next few months, but in the next few weeks before considering any higher prices. Why is that so? Because if you take a look at the overall market structure on the year, it's a high resistance liquidity run. Okay, I'm gonna split them up into quarters and you'll see what I mean. Okay. All right. So you can see that Q1 we expanded, Q2 expansion again, Q3 expansion again, but more of a consolidation, and then right now we are in Q4. Same thing for Nasdaq, expansion, but look at the retracement before the expansion. Okay, if we take a look at the dealing range from the high to the low, it's more than 50% retracement and then higher, and then within the next quarter it's also retracing all the way into 75% and then higher. So we have a rather deep retracement. So from the highs and lows of the previous quarter, we are way up here. Therefore, retracing back into 25%, it's reasonable basing off this year's price action. Similar for NQ, expansion Q1. Look at the retracements all the way into 75%. And then Q2, we have a reversal. It took out the low right here. Reversal, stop hunt, higher. So this is a typical high resistance liquidity run. And then we have this dealing range in Q3. Right now, we are at the highs, near the highs in premium. So coming back down into 25%, near short-term swing lows right here could be the next objective. And if we look at Dow Jones, it's more of a accumulation within the first 2 quarters right here. Expansion, reversal, stop hunt, SMT. Tried to expand higher but failed. Accumulation in Q2, Q3, expansion. And then right now we are in Q4. Right, so you have a lot of back and forth price action, which is why I'm suggesting that we are probably going to run the lows here. We have equal lows on S&P. We have nice trend line here on Nasdaq. And then we have this low right here. Probably Dow Jones is going to leave the low open. But I believe that Nasdaq and ES can take out the lows for next week. Because I'm not that bullish in terms of the current candles close. I don't like this close right here. Okay. Now let's drop into the daily time frame. Even when you look at the daily time frame, it doesn't look that bullish, except for Dow Jones. Right? So Dow Jones is a bullish price action, a bullish price market profile. When you see this type of retracement, this is normal. But when you see such a deep retracement into a BC that was supposed to send the price higher, this to me is not really that optimal if I'm looking for higher prices. Therefore, if I was to force a bias for next week, I would think that we are going lower. Right, dropping down into the 4 hours time frame. I'm gonna move on to the individual charts because we are going to see the quarters of the month. Right, so we have this as Q1. We have a very large expansion in Q1. Q2 is supposed to consolidate and then grind lower to go higher. That's supposed to be the protocol. But right now we are retracing all the way down here and there is no signs of wanting to consolidate. So this is a possible reversal move right down here. All right, take a look at Nasdaq. It's even more bearish than ES. Okay, this is the original consolidation. We run it all the way up here. We don't have any higher time frame SMT. The only SMT that we have is between Tuesday and Wednesday, the daily candles. If we take a look at it, Nasdaq made a higher high as compared to ES. ES made a lower high before this large expansion to the downside. Okay, now even if I was to use the OTE, let's take a look. Let's take a look at what happens when I put on the OTE for the week of Q1. This is the Sunday's opening price, so the highest body of Q1 would be right here. Okay, if I put on the OTE, what is it going to look like? We are right now in OTE range. Is it possible that it is a OTE setup? Maybe, but I don't like it in terms of the way it dropped. It doesn't have any structure, and I can't really determine due to the fact that on the left it doesn't have any structure as well. So any form of reversals, you're going to match the speed, which is what it's doing right now. So in terms of reversals, let's just say I'm anticipating lower prices. Because we are right now below 50%, price would be more willing to displace lower at a faster speed as compared to what it did right down here. So for next week and the following week, I'm anticipating price to take out the lows here if it is a reversal. So I have a timeline for this. It cannot take too long, like it cannot consolidate right here and then starts to expand higher. That's not what I want to see if I'm looking for lower prices. However, if it does so, if it does something like this, consolidates and then expands higher, then we'll look for this highs up here and all the liquidity up here for targets. It's pretty simple here, because then this would be OTE setup. Okay. Now, YM has a very clear structure. Low, lower low, breaker. This fair value gap right here should support the price to go higher. We have inversion fair value gap right here as well on the 4 hours. All right. So we can trade lower next week to take out this week's low, and then trade higher for YM to take out these highs. That is possible, and that is the normal market structure and how it should look like. You don't want to see these inefficiencies to be filled, because if you're bullish, you want to see them left open, which is not what we are getting on Nasdaq. Look at how far it's retracing into the second last inefficiency. The last one is right here, based on the 4 hours chart. And if we take a look on the left, this was the only inversion, and look at where we stopped. Look at that. We're very near to it, right? So if you take a look closely, this is an old CB that was utilized to send the price lower to take out this low right here. So if anything, next week, best case scenario, for the first half of the week, we trade up higher and then we drop it lower down into this level. And I want to see if it wants to consolidate after tagging this level, consolidates, and then wants to go higher. This is what I want to see. Or it just moves on lower with a lot of speed to take out the lows here. But this move right here is pretty much confirmed. Okay, and what it do after that will determine the price action. Probably some SMT within this consolidation. That is what I'm anticipating. Let's take a look at ES. On the 4 hours chart, we don't have any inversion fair value gaps that we can use. Let's see. If I were to really force it, it's going to be this one. Right, so this was the inversion fair value gap that lead to this stop hunt on the rejection block. And then price came back up again to send the price lower to take out this lows. So the origin of this expansion came from this fair value gap right here. So if anything, we should find support right down here. However, we have this one over here. This fair value gap was utilized to send the price higher before to take out the last stop hunt. Okay, so this is a higher high as compared to this one, right? So look at the reaction right here as well. So for next week, I want to see if ES can trade up higher like Nasdaq and then drop lower into this inefficiency right here, and then provide me with intel to see if it wants to go higher or does it wants to go lower. So this is the sell side and buy side, and this would be the dealing range that I'll be playing with. And if you take a look at the dealing range from the low to the high, I'm just using the bodies grading. I will only be looking for shorts if we can trade below 75%. Same thing, if we can trade above 25%, I'll look for this, because I don't want to be in the middle. Because what can happen is we can just choose to drop down here and then consolidates around the equilibrium before deciding on the move. So I don't want to be stuck in this equilibrium. So I'm only looking for short-term objectives for the first half of the week and see what it wants to do. We have news drivers on Thursday and on Friday. We have nothing from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So I believe in such a case, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is probably going to be a one directional move, and then we get the Thursday classic reversal. It doesn't have to move a lot in terms of range, but it can grind lower. So instead of a one directional move, instead of something like this, one directional and then reverse, instead of this, it can do something like this, drops, and then now you're in Wednesday, SMT something, and then trade higher. Because if it is a one directional move dropping lower, we're going to reverse very hard after taking out this lows. So an example would be if we can take out this lows prior to Thursday or on Thursday, so something like this, just keeps on dropping, taking out, keeps dropping from Monday onwards, takes out the lows. You're gonna see reversal on Thursday and on Friday. Alright, and that's pretty much it for this session here. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll talk to you again. Good luck trading next week.